I think Casey and I are going to have a conversation that we were having privately. We're going to have it publicly for the world to see. And that is about the American dream. Because when we were growing up, I was under the impression it was one way. What I see today in my child and the generation behind her might be different. And I don't know if the American dream has or hasn't changed. This is my one person opinion, but Casey, let's have this conversation and get ready for people to fling arrows our direction. What do you think
I
about what?
know. I can already hear it in the comments.
Yeah. So let's talk about what we thought the American dream was, I don't know, 2 or 3 decades ago. What did you see it as?
So was always brought up and grew up that the American dream is go to school, go to college, get that job at that great company. They don't really do pensions anymore, but get a nice stable job, buy a home, and you've got it made. Like the goal is to be a homeowner and have a job that's a solid job with a college degree. To me, that was what I always thought the American dream was. How
Yeah,
about
so
you?
I have a horrible memory. But one memory I have from grade school, it's only because my mother would do this every day. I think from like third grade to sixth grade is when we went to a slightly better school. She's like, Michael, your job is to go to school, get good grades so you can get a good job and make a lot of money. That was a phrase I heard over and over, and I can still hear my mom's voice in my head saying that. So yeah, you're right. I think that was the American dream. Get married, have some kids, own a home, two dogs, and in the front yard, white picket fence. And I'm not saying that American dream has stopped, but when I look at my daughter, who's now 30, maybe the generation behind her, Gen Z, I think it's changed. And I'm not saying it's changed for the better or the worse. I'm just saying it changed. And I will say, first and foremost, as someone who has an advanced degree, that's probably good. This student loan debt debacle with people being told they got to get degrees and stuff that doesn't, produce income to pay for them is crazy that we're getting people
Mm-hmm.
to do all of this. The fact that trade schools have to beg, borrow, and steal that are six-figure jobs, crazy. I don't think college is right for everyone. And I think it's changed. I think in the last 5 years with the advent of social media, I think it will change further with AI and what it's doing. I think the American dream has changed. So Casey, what do you see the American dream kind of perhaps morphing into?
Well, I feel like I'm seeing is now I don't know a lot of young people. So I'm 41. I don't know a lot of really young people anymore, but I do see them on social media and I see what they promote and I see like what their goals are and what they're talking about. And I'm like, so the American dream is not to own a home anymore. And it maybe isn't even to go to college. Maybe now the American dream is to start your own business, be self sufficient, rent, so you don't have that responsibility and you can go be a nomad traveler
Yeah.
and travel all around the country, not have anything tying you down.
Yeah,
I don't
I,
know, like living
I
life on your own terms, having that work life balance, that flexibility of being a business owner and making money your own way and being your own boss.
yeah, this I mean, I've seen some posts and I follow some people that are what they're called digital nomads. If I'm using the wrong term, forgive me, I'm old. But that's I got to admit that sounds kind of fun, right? Go spend 6 months
Yeah.
here, 6 months there. Just basically need laptop, phone, and Wi-Fi, right? Good Wi-Fi, and you work anywhere. I think I mean, if that's what you want, that's awesome. Certainly
I think it sounds
I
good.
I mean, I didn't think that was a thing until I was 45. I had no idea. I thought you had to buy a home, get a job, anchor yourself, have roots. But maybe, frankly, I think they may have it better, right? Not
I
doing
know.
it. Maybe,
I think
maybe,
it's because it's technology. It's because
yeah.
technology allows us to have access to the world. Like internet has changed. This sounds so bad. Internet has changed everything. And even after the pandemic, people have been relying more on Zoom, more remote abilities, not being there face to face, figuring it out from a distance, and
Mhm.
realizing that they don't have to be somewhere. And maybe they don't want to always have to be somewhere, and that living life is all about exploring the world and enjoying your life.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very different. And I just feel like I feel like personally, in my opinion, it's changed a little bit since I
Yeah.
grew up.
Well, I think it's again, I like almost everything about the change if it's truly changed. One,
Me too.
I think there's a natural pushback to college is right for everyone, as I kind of led into. I think that's a good thing. I think being an entrepreneur and controlling your own future, kind of, I was a commission-based salesperson, so I wanted a comp plan where I got paid if I sold something versus a socialist plan where like everybody on a team sells and then you all divide equally. I hated those. So again, maybe survive on your own, and if you're good, you get paid, and if not, you got to find something else. I think there's a lot to like. It will be interesting for me because I suspect what happens in a decade is this digital nomad lifestyle. I don't know if it works well once you add kids. And maybe
Yeah.
babies is okay, but school age kids, I
Hmm.
don't know,
Yeah.
right? I'm too old school to think about it. Maybe homeschooling is the right way, and you can maybe you can learn like 3 languages when they're young. How cool would that be? But
Cool.
I do wonder what happens once family formations happen. What do you think?
Yeah. And I wonder, are people still wanting families? Like, I feel like less people are wanting families now than before.
Mm-hmm.
And at least that's from what I've seen. So I think that's interesting. I think people, I don't know about that, but I do agree that having kids changes things. Like people talk about house hacking all the time. You're like, oh, you should
Mm-hmm.
house hack. I'm like, I've got 3 kids. I'm not moving them from house to house. Like when they're babies and they don't know any better, sure. But before they hit kindergarten, you want them to have friends and be in the same
Yeah.
school and have a routine and not, I kind of feel like military kids. Now I wasn't a military kid, but just from like my cousin was, and
Mm.
like I just from what you hear, oh, my parents are in the military and they moved us all around, and I went to five different high schools, and so it's things like that I'm like, well, is that what's going to happen to these nomad people when they have kids, or will it be something else figured out? I do know though that homeschool is becoming more and more prevalent. It's getting better and better. It used to be, and everyone can hate on me. It used to be right. The thing was that the weirdos went to homeschool.
Ah,
You're a weirdo if you're a homeschool kid.
yeah.
That was it.
Now, not anymore.
Now,
Yeah.
no, no, my sister homeschools. And if I had the patience, my kids don't listen to me, I would do it. There are
Yeah.
so many more valuable resources, honestly, with the way schools are out there. Like I don't even agree with what they're teaching our kids, even in the area that I live in, which is more of my beliefs. So I think homeschooling really is a great way to go. And if you can provide your kids that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that change of mentality where no, you don't need to go to school to be babysat, which is my kids are in school, they go to public school. You don't need to go to school to get babysat for 12 years till high school or 13 years, to then go be in a job for the next 40
Right.
years, right?
Yeah.
Being a slave to the man or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's, hey, we can learn all different ways. It doesn't have to be in a
Yeah.
classroom,
I agree.
and we can learn outdoors, and we can go to museums, and I can teach you how to knit or whatever. I don't know how to knit, but other things,
Yeah.
skills that you may actually learn. How to be a prepper, I don't know, how to grow your own food, all sorts of things. There's just so many resources out there too for people. So I feel like education has changed, and the need for a college, like you were saying earlier, Michael, to go get that degree in something that's not going to pay well, and not going to pay your school bill. Like, why are we still talking? Why are we still doing that? And I have the debate too. Like, my daughter's 12. You know, do I want her to go to college? Yes, I love school. I'm 100% love school. Always be for school. Would be for it. But I'm like, I don't know. Like, if that really is the right. Like, I want her to be an entrepreneur. I want her to build her own life, her own business. I don't know about
Yeah.
school. It's like so hard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you learn in school besides learning. You learn how to be an adult. You learn how to take care of yourself. You learn how to make friends. You get socialized. There's a lot of cool things about college and stuff besides learning and going to class, that I think are valuable. But I do think that it's kind of changed
Yeah.
over the years.
Well, tell you what, folks, do me a favor. This is just what Casey and I are seeing going on today. I will ask you, what do you think the American dream is? Leave a comment below. Realize that if you do leave a comment below, you may get some haters responding to you. Don't take it personal. But yeah, let us know what you think the American dream is today. I think it's fair to say it is evolving, aka changing. For better or worse, I think that's just natural. Casey, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and my website, Brick by Brick Wealth.
Thank you so much.